Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out at the range to do some testing of a new product that's not available just yet, but I've been working with the company to help them test the new product and to help bring it to market. And to that end, we have a Fight Light MCR here, and this is probably the most well-known 5.56 belt-fed rifle that's currently out there. A complete gun from Fight Light is about $8,300. They are far from inexpensive. Well, there's another company on the scene now called Lima Six, and they've been working on a belt-fed rifle themselves, an upper, and the price is going to be very competitive as compared to the MCR that you see here. Now, just an upper on this is $5 or $6 grand. The complete rifle is about $8,300. The Lima Six, you're looking at about $3,000 for a complete upper. And currently they're talking about a build kit that you can put together yourself that will be about $1,000 less than that. Now, what actually comes to market will probably change. Again, what we're going to show you today is a beta product. This is not ready for production, but they're really, really close, which is why I have it and why I'm testing it, shooting it as much as I can and offering feedback. So the Fight Light, what you see here, is one of the coolest little weapon systems out there. Basically, it's the same size as an M4, but obviously this one is belt fed, and it also has dual feed capabilities, which means you can put a magazine in this thing and run it from a magazine, or you can run it from a belt. But it's expensive, but also it has a lot of features that perhaps you don't need. And if you cut back some of those features, things like a quick change barrel or a lift up feed tray, and a non-reciprocating charging handle to go to reciprocating. If you change a few things and lower the cost of production, you can pass those cost savings on, and you can sell a belt-fed 5.56 upper that runs on M27 links that doesn't cost as much as this. And that's kind of where the Lima Six is coming to market. So we've done videos on the Fight Light. If you want to check those out, just check our library. You can see a couple of different videos out there where I demonstrate this rifle. What we want to talk about today is the Lima Six. And this thing should bring belt-fed 5.56s to a lot more people, given the fact that it's going to be a lot less expensive than the Fight Light. So let's get started with today's video, taking a closer look at the beta, not in production yet, Lima Six belt-fed conversion for the AR-15. A lot of folks ask me, how can I get involved in the firearms business in that particular community? And one of the best ways to do that is to become a gunsmith. Every gunsmith I know is just overbooked with work. It's a very good living. And so if you would like to become a gunsmith, you need to go to a gunsmithing school or become an apprentice for an existing gunsmith. But Modern Gun School is an accredited college that also works with veterans in the GI Bill, where you can go and get a degree from accredited college in gunsmithing and then go out and start your own gunsmithing business, which I think is a really great option. Again, throughout my entire life, gunsmiths have always been able to earn a really good living, assuming they have a really strong work ethic. So please check out Modern Gun School. I do have a link in the video description below. So the Lima Six, this is just a PSA lower that I have on here. And the only thing that you're going to want to change, which is just like the Fight Light, let me go ahead and put that bolt home, is that you need to put a different bolt stop in there, because you can see the receiver hangs over, and a standard bolt stop bolt release isn't going to work. So we just put a shaved bolt stop in there, and then it will pin to any standard AR-15 lower. So let's kind of start off back here and move our way forward, talking about the features of this particular firearm, and then I'll also point out some of the differences. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about the differences between this and something like the Fight Light, simply because this is not a final production item and things are going to change by the time it goes for sale. But back here we have just, standard M4 style buffer tube and stock on here. You can change the recoil or the buffer springs and weights and things like that. And we're still messing with that. We have a number of different buffers and weights and stuff out here that we're using in our testing of the rifle. Right now it's set up to run with M193 ball and not 223, but port sizes and things like that are going to change over time, which will then, you'll be able to run it with 223 most likely in the future. So moving forward, we have just a complete proprietary upper, and this is where your belt feed system comes into play. And here's a charging handle. It's in the white. Again, this is a pre-production sample that will be anodized in final production, but this is a reciprocating charging handle. So as you see the bolt travel rearward, you can see that the charging handle is going to reciprocate with it. When I lock the bolt to the rear, I can't push that charging handle forward. Again, that's going to be cost savings. but it's out of the way and it shouldn't be a problem. It's on the right-hand side of the receiver. It's kind of like a charging handle on an M1 Garand Mini 14 or AK-47 for that matter, so it shouldn't be a problem. Up here, well, right here is the little nub that will operate your feed pause that rides in this track. Now you'll notice that this does not go down. It's not spring-loaded and won't go down. Another cost-saving measure, right? If you take a look at the Fight Light, for example, this goes down. Why is that significant? Because with the bolt forward, with that fixed pin, you can't close your top cover. Okay, for the top cover to close, you got to have the bolt locked to the rear, and now this will line up with the feed tray track there, and it will pop down. Now you'll notice the locking system right here. This is basically, it looks like a button borrowed directly from a mag release, and that's how you release your top cover. Now, one of the things I noticed on this right away is how much more robust this mounting system is up here over my Fight Light, and there's no lateral movement in that. It's a very tight fit, and when this is locked down, it makes for an outstanding mounting platform for optics, and we'll do some accuracy testing down the road. But this has a tighter fit than my Fight Light currently. And so that's pretty nice. Now, all the mechanics in here and stuff are pretty common parts, very similar to like an M249, something like that. This rifle will operate on direct gas impingement. So the Fight Light is actually a short stroke gas piston. The gas system has been moved to the left-hand side because it can't be on top anymore because that would interfere with the feed system of the belt fed. So they moved the port over to the side. DI runs back here, and you have a carrier key just like you would on a standard AR-15, but it's on the left-hand side of the bolt carrier, and that's how it operates. It is adjustable, so you can adjust the gas flow to the rifle. All right. Now, another cost savings feature is it does not have a quick change barrel. Most folks simply don't want to pay an extra $1,000 or $2 just to have a quick change barrel. Most people that I know that own Fight Lights don't even have a spare barrel for them, right? So being able to change your barrel isn't something you're really going to have to worry about. I know a lot of you guys are going to ask the question, will these work with super safeties and things like that? And the goal is to absolutely have these work with super safeties and FRTs and things like that. Now, I'm not currently testing it with that, but there are other people out there that are assisting in the development and testing of this firearm that are working on testing them with those types of accessories. So that's pretty much it. It's I have to get a weight on this thing. Again, all this is going to change most likely to some degree, but it's not super heavy. It does have a standard 16-inch barrel on it. And yeah, it is really simple, easy to use. And it seems like even for a pre-production sample, everything is just really nicely fit. Now, to load this up is just like any other belt fed. I'm going to go ahead and throw some ears on here. And so, like I said, we want to make sure that the bolt is locked to the rear if we're going to load it. So I'm going to pull the bolt to the rear. I'm going to push down on the lock so I can lock that bolt in the rearward position so it'll line up with the top cover. Lay my rounds in there. Close that top cover down. Let it go. She's ready to fire. All right. Now, I will also mention, as it's currently configured, this is not dual feed. This is strictly a belt fed. So the Fight Light, you can run it off, Stenag magazines or run belts. This is just a belt fed upper as it currently sits. All right, let's do a little bit of shooting with this. We're shooting some Federal M193 ball. And yeah, I think I actually zeroed this thing already today. All right. After it's empty, open it up, sweep that tray, make sure she's empty, and that's it. So we've had really good luck with this so far, running M193 ball. We'll put one more belt, a little shorter belt that I have here, through it really quick. And lock that bolt to the rear. Lay the ammo in the feed tray. Close her up. Make sure I put my ears on. Let her charge. I'm shooting at a challenge target at about 100 yards, and I'm double tapping that target and hitting it. All right, and that's it. You can see we're getting this bad boy nice and hot. Oops. But yeah, really, really interesting. Now, a lot of the small parts and stuff that you see here, they're in the white. These are not final production parts, right? As I said, this is a pre-production sample. The reason this has been sent to me is so that I can run thousands of rounds through it, see if I can get anything to break, and to offer my feedback to Lima Six so they can improve the product. I encourage manufacturers to reach out to folks like myself. There's plenty of us in this industry that if you have a product that's interesting to us, I'm not charging Lima Six anything for this. I'm burning up my own ammo, but Federal supplies that to us free of charge. Thank you, Federal. We love you guys. But I want to see products like this on the market. I want you to be able to go out and buy a belt fed like this. I think it's great that this thing's going to work with super safeties and things like that. This is a product I think if you're interested in a belt fed 5.56, this is something I think that would fit that niche, scratch that itch for you, because a lot of folks want to play with belt feds, even in semi-automatic, because they're really, really interesting. And $8,000 for a complete firearm is just way too rich for the average American, especially in today's economy. So it's really cool to see Lima Six doing this. Now, I followed their development on X, formerly known as Twitter, and you guys can follow them over there as well. I'll put a little lower third down below so you can find them on X, so you can follow the development of the Lima Six belt fed as well. All right, so we're going to let this thing cool off a little bit. We're going to load up a couple more belts and do some more shooting with it. As I said, the point of me even having this thing is so I can run thousands and thousands of rounds through it and offer my feedback. So that's what we're starting in on today. Now, this is not a final review video because, as I've said many times already, this is not a final product. But when this product is finally done and available, I will do a full review on that product and let you guys know what I think of it. Right now, I'm just having fun with it. So taking a look at the Lima Six on the inside is really kind of interesting. So this is the bolt carrier, and it sets in the receiver like this. And you can see the gas key sitting off on the left-hand side of the bolt. This is the pin that runs the feed pause. Here's the bolt. Now you'll notice that the extractor, it's the same style extractor, it's just been moved around to the side because the whole bolt basically has been turned onto its side. If you look at it next to a standard AR15 bolt, you can see what I'm talking about, how they've moved it to work. But other than that, it's very similar. You'll notice that the Lima Six has 2 ejectors, so very positive ejection versus the standard 1 ejector on a standard AR15 bolt. Your charging handle's currently held in place by these 2 screws. You'll notice it has a big beefy firing pin. That's your pin that operates the feed pause. There's your cam pin for the bolt, your carrier, and then this is a very heavy duty, almost like a AR-10 style spring, but it's short, works in a standard M4 receiver extension, but it gives you more spring pressure, because one of the biggest challenges that companies face in trying to make a belt fed that fits into a standard size rifle, not something huge like a saw, is the lack of movement. They did lengthen the receiver on this, has more, a slightly longer receiver and slightly longer feed tray cover than the MCR, for example, but you only have so much room to work with. And you need really heavy springs to be able to strip around out of a belt, feed it, and cycle the entire action, and then have enough energy to pull a belt in that's hanging off the side of the gun, strip the round into the chamber. So it requires a lot of engineering, and in this case, heavier springs and things like that. And that's part of the testing cycle, is figuring out what the ideal gas setting is, how much gas tap off, how much spring pressure you need, all that stuff. And that just takes testing time. So taking a look at it's a very simple mechanism. And yeah, now I'm sure some of this is going to change by the time it goes into production, but I don't anticipate it getting any more complex than this. This is your firing pin, retainer pin, instead of a cotter pin. So yeah, well thought out, very simple. And I like the fact that it's DI. You know, I'm a big fan of DI. It makes it for a little bit softer shooting than a gas piston gun, which is more abrupt. Very cool stuff, guys. Yeah, so this thing, guys, what's really interesting, Jason and I have messed with a lot of belt feds, conversions, RPDs, and all sorts of stuff. You've seen us featuring belt feds here on the channel, semi-auto belt feds, for a long time. And I will say, I don't think there's an exception to this. This is the first belt fed that we've taken out of the box, put ammo in, and just started running it with no issues. Every other single belt fed, we've messed with gas settings, we've messed with different things, buffer springs, whatever. I've always had to mess with something to get it to work reliably. And this thing is not even a production item, and we're already having really, really good luck with it. Now watch, it'll probably choke. But even if it does, it's a prototype. Well, almost prototype, almost into production. So that's what's really cool. I think they've done an amazing job. The engineering behind this is really impressive. I mean, I followed, like, the development was of the MCR, which was originally known as the Shrike. I followed that thing for many years as they were trying to get that thing to work. And then I started following Lima Six when I first learned of them on X. And their development cycle was very quick. We're not talking a decade, we're talking a year or two. And to see it at this level, at this point, is truly impressive. And so I'm really looking forward to this because, again, I think this is a great opportunity for so many gun owners to be able to afford a belt fed for fun, because they are fun, guys. I know you'll see people trash talking in the comments. You know, a semi-automatic belt fed is dumb. It's not. I mean, yeah, sure, put a super safety in it if you want it to run faster, but they're not dumb. They're actually fun to shoot. And I've said a million times on this channel, you don't have to have a tactical or practical purpose for a firearm. You are allowed to own firearms that are fun. With that being said, in its final form, this very well could be a firearm that could be used for more serious applications. So we'll see how this thing evolves. But right now, I'm really impressed with it. It certainly seems that it's going to work with different types of handguards. This is a YHM, looks like a standard AR15 handguard on here. Yeah, so you're going to have accessories available for it, you know, pistol grips, stocks, handguards. Really, really cool. Now, some of you may not be happy with the lack of a quick barrel change feature. I honestly don't care, because this is how I pretty much use it. And maybe if you run a FRT, that would make a difference to you. But for me, I think this is a great way to save some cost. And it's certainly a very pleasant gun to shoot. In our final testing, we'll do some testing on belt pull. Right now, I'm just letting the belt hang, and it's having to pull that belt into the action. And we'll stretch a belt out in the future. All belt feds eventually will have a problem with how much belt they have to pull, but right now, we're not running into any belt pull issues, but we're not pulling a massive amount of rounds yet either. You know, you just want to do that. That's part of the fun of shooting these things, is just being able to pull the trigger like crazy. Well, guys, this was just a video to show you what we were testing. I got permission from Lima Six to show you this weapon while we're in the testing cycle. I don't want to get everybody all wound up and ready to run out there and buy one just yet, because they're not yet for sale. But yeah, this is the stuff I really enjoy doing. I really enjoy seeing new products and being able to help test those new products and offer feedback. And then, of course, seeing things like this actually coming to market. Look at all these M27 links that we're using. And yes, it does use standard M27 links, which are all over the place out there. And you can reuse them. And here are your belts. All right, so we will do follow-ups on this as we continue to test. We probably will try to do a 1,000-round burn down on this prototype. I'm going to shoot it a bit more, get 500-600 rounds through it, and then we're just going to run, you know, in one video, a bunch of ammunition through it just to see how it's working and all that good stuff. So stay around, stay tuned, because there will be more information on this for sure, if you have any questions about the Lima 6, first of all, jump on over to X. I'll, again, put a link to their X profile. You can ask the questions to Lima 6. I'm not the engineer. I'm just the trigger puller. But I do also try to stick around for the first couple of days after I post a video to answer any questions you guys may have that I can answer. If you guys would like to support us here at the Military Arms channel so we can continue to bring you content like this and do testing like this, please consider becoming part of our Patreon family. There's a link in the video description below. Right here on YouTube, you got the thanks and subscribe button underneath the video player you're watching right now. Mash either one of those buttons and you can help support us right here on YouTube in the age of demonetization. Thank you for 16, maybe 17 years of support now, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Oh yeah, swing by, check out Copper Custom. We'll talk to you guys soon.